Hello and welcome to episode 119, Thanksgiving. So we're going to kind of just disrupt our flow. Not sure we have a flow. We're going to disrupt our flow. Happy Thanksgiving for those of you who are in the US. For my listeners, because I figure I'm from Canada. So if you're from Canada, you're my listeners. We did Thanksgiving a few weeks ago. So this is late gramming for Canadians. This is like on timing for the American Thanksgiving, which for some reason seems to be more important, but that's just because you people in the US like to be the center of attention. So,
Self-important, yeah.
right? It's what we love about you. It's like the World Cup of baseball that like sometimes you invite some Canadian teams to, but it's always cracked me up because I'm like, only in America because you have a World Cup that is
Not actually
literally
a World Cup. Yeah, yeah, we could.
just involves you. That's a whole topic for another day. We love you guys. Thanksgiving is really about the harvest, which is why we do it a month earlier in Canada because it's colder up there and therefore it happens sooner, right? There are so many thoughts and feelings about Thanksgiving. My English friend said to me before Canadian Thanksgiving, she was like, "Well, do you celebrate Thanksgiving? You're from New Zealand." And I was like, "Well, I give thanks and yeah, if I'm going to be invited over to someone's house to celebrate Thanksgiving, absolutely I want to be part of that." I think that it is really cool that we are actually taking a beat to get together, and the pagan idea of celebrating the harvest and giving thanks for the bounty of nature and all that we get, I think it is super expensive. It is super important. And really, we should do it every day. Ian and I are getting into this habit of what made you feel good today, what made you laugh, what are you grateful for? And I think coming into Christmas, which brings so much stuff up around families and around things, that it's actually kind of cool that before we go into all of that combobulated stuff, we're actually taking a moment to really be with each other and celebrate the things that we are thankful for, because that does give us a really good footing to stand on as we go into these other holidays that just trigger the bejesus out of us. Um, and I'm going to stop talking there. I am Natasha Lockie. If you've been here before, thank you so much. We love having you along. If you like this podcast and you enjoy it every week, I really would love to ask you a favor if you would share this with just one person in the spirit of Thanksgiving. If you would like share this out with somebody and just let them know that you're thinking about them. And we would really appreciate it, because if you appreciate what we put out, we would love it if you would share it with others. Don't keep it to yourselves. That's not nice. And if this is the first time you're here because somebody shared it with you, thanks for joining us. And we really hope you enjoyed the show, and we would love to have you along on a regular basis. So again, thanks for being here. We really, really appreciate it. I'm joined by my co-host, Jenny, who I will let introduce herself, and we'll talk about Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I'm Jenny Brandon. I'm an animal communicator and energy healer for animals and their people too. So if you are looking for support with your pet, especially around the holidays with all of the craziness that goes on, reach out and let's talk about it. So I think I'm just going to dive in with this one because I have the story, probably the big story to tell for this episode. We are having some construction done on our house. We're having a porch put on, which includes a gable roof over the porch on the front, and along with that, having new shingles put on. When we moved into the house, we were told 2 to 3 years on the roof, and it's been 8, so it was time. We were starting to get a couple leaks that couldn't really be managed with that blackjack stuff, so it was overdue at that point, and we knew we had to take action. But we did not want to redo shingles until we put the roof on, right? We didn't want to go through all that to have to tear up a huge section of roof. That would be a waste of money at that point. So we had everything lined up, and we found really great Amish builders, and they were going to do the gable part and then have a different company come in and do the shingles as close together as possible. of course, best laid plans, right? So the Amish crew got here on Friday afternoon last week and started building out the roof, which involved tearing off the old shingles to be able to put the gable on and everything. And we were watching the weather. There was a chance of rain on Sunday. It didn't look that bad. It bounced around a lot. And we were like, all right, well, we'll see. So they left Friday night. They didn't check in with me, which I was a little not thrilled about. But they left Friday and had put some covering on the roof, but not full tarp or anything like that. So we hemmed and hawed about whether or not to tarp it, but ultimately we didn't either. And Sunday night, weather blew up. And we suddenly had about 3 hours of 100% chance of rain, which we discovered when the rain started falling through the attic down. So I had just gotten out of the tub soaking, which is my Sunday ritual, and I heard Eddie yelling, and I throw open the door and process what he's saying as he's telling me water is pouring in the attic. And we raised up into the attic, and it's a giant waterfall straight along the edge of the roof line, just pouring in the house. I don't love that I do these situations really well. As long as no one's hurt, I actually manage these situations really, really well. I immediately started pulling stuff out of every tote I could find. So I'm dumping out Christmas decorations, I'm dumping out clothes. Our attic was already not all that neat, and now it is like a bomb went off up there. And I'm just shoving these totes to Eddie, and he'd be like, I need another one. And I'd look at where it is, and I'm like, let me find something. And find one that's big enough because they have to balance across the rafters. It was crazy. And so the rain slacked off for a little bit, and we also realized a bunch of these totes are now almost full. So now what do we do? Because, oh yeah, there's a little more rain still coming. He goes in the basement, grabs his shop vac, drags it all the way up into the attic. And we start shop vacuuming the water out of these tubs so that they don't overflow. And that's when we realized, number one, he didn't take the filter out of the shop vac, so it's now saturated. He does woodwork, so there's sawdust. And we opened it up and realized this vacuum was half full of sawdust. So now it is sloshing sawdust. So now I have to find another tote to be able to dump water in. It was insane. It was calamity of craziness. And we took the break in the rain, go downstairs, discover the water is coursing down the window. It's running down the front door. Then we go in the basement and discover it's running all the way down our basement walls. And so we just, the crazy part is I kept checking my phone to check the radar. I never took any pictures. I was that in shock and struggling in that moment that I didn't even take any photos or video, which I really regret now because it was kind of epic. And at one point we were sitting on a cooler because we didn't have anywhere else to sit, because you can't fully stand up in our attic. It's just a bit short. You can stand between rafters if you make sure you know where you put your head and don't poke any roofing nails, but that's all you got. And so we're sitting on the cooler just staring at the water dripping into all the containers, and he's like, I am so angry. And I'm like, yeah, you have every right to be really, really angry right now. And there's nothing we can do about any of it other than attempt to do the best we can in this moment, catch the water, and that's it. And I have never felt so helpless in my life, just sitting there and knowing there was nothing more I could do to change any of it. I couldn't shove any more totes out into the roof. I couldn't do anything else. And finally the rain slacked off and we went to bed a couple hours later. And the next morning the contractors came, and of course they were very beside themselves that the damage had happened. And so they called their boss, let him know, and he immediately told them, get the insulation out of the attic. So first thing I was grateful for, the porch was not actually sealed up. They literally shoved the insulation straight out the roof. So it was wide open.
Easy.
Still. Easy, so easy. Just shoved it straight out the roof to get it off the ceiling in the living room so that it could start to dry. And then we brought the hose up into the attic and then stuffed it out the porch and outside to siphon the water out of the giant tub we had been dumping it in. There was probably 30 gallons of water in it. And how are we going to get 30 gallons of water from an attic with a rickety wooden ladder outside? Well, with the siphon through the hose. And so that worked really easily. again, another thing to be thankful for. Again, it wasn't closed up, it was all open. So, next thing to be thankful for is through Eddie's work, he has access to lots of equipment, but he was able to go grab carpet fans. So, we got carpet fans in the attic running within, like, I don't know, it was by 10 o'clock. We had carpet fans in the attic on Monday morning. So, started drying out. It's cold, like, not the greatest, but still better than doing nothing. So, the boss contractor couldn't come over until Wednesday. And we, again, nothing to do. There was nothing more we could do in that moment that would have changed anything. So we just let it be. And when he stopped by on Wednesday morning, he was very considerate and concerned. I was a little concerned we were going to have to push him on really making sure things were dry and that we weren't going to have mold problems in our wall. And he was not. He was very much like, yeah, we're going to go to whatever length we need to go to make sure this is fixed. So that may include ripping out our entire living room wall of sheetrock if it doesn't dry out. We have a moisture meter, so we're checking spots to see where things are. But he's like, yeah, that may be the reality, is that we have to do that. And I look at all of this and I'm like, I already had a full list of things to do right now. Even with just the pour and the shingles going on, that already added a layer. Now I have to clean my attic because stuff is like thrown everywhere and there's shingle grit all over the place, all over everything. It all has to be vacuumed and cleaned. So now I need my attic to be taken care of. I have to clean up from the roofers outside. I'm going to have to deal with whatever. And now there's machines running in my house 24/7. We now have a dehumidifier in the living room, like industrial dehumidifier with a hose run to the kitchen. So it's like through the living room and across the kitchen. I keep stepping on it in the kitchen. It's like wrapped around the thing and pushed into the sink so it doesn't spray water everywhere. And I'm just like, I didn't need anything else. And yet at the same time, I'm so glad that anything else, we were home. We were able to do as much as we were able to do in the moment, even though that feels like it wasn't enough. And that could probably be a whole other topic on its own. But the other part about it is the contractor's just like, yeah, if the walls got moisture in it, we'll rip it out and fix it. And I'm like, well, number one, our walls need more insulation anyway, so that'll get put in. Number two, the window and the door were slated to be replaced. They're old, they're leaky, drafty. So if you're going to tear into my wall, I'm going to find the funds to do that now so I don't have to do it later. So I won't know for about another week whether I'm getting a new front door and living room window right now. But all I know is that it doesn't even matter in the moment, that things are okay and it's all going to sort itself out. And that fact tells me how much freaking work I've done over the last God knows how many years, that I can sit there, number one, in the middle of a waterfall in my attic and go, you know what? All these emotions, there's nothing I can do. There's no action I can take right now that changes any of this situation. I just have to let it be. And then to sit here and look at the fact that my living room might be shredded, which means I can't decorate for Christmas, which if you've been around long enough, you know that's kind of a thing for me. But I may be completely discombobulating my life for weeks until this gets straightened out, when it was only supposed to be a 3-day, 4-day issue. And despite this chaos and all of this stuff going on, like, damn, I have so much to be grateful for. Even though this is destructive, like, water is destructive in this way, right? That's a bad thing to have water pouring through your house. And yet it's like, yeah, but you know what? Everything's going to work out just fine. It's all going to sort itself out eventually. That's the place that I want to be with everything in my life, because I can guarantee you I am not there with a lot of other aspects of my life, for sure. But in this moment, I can look at this and be like, dang, I have put in some work. I have put in some time, and it's paying off. And I can be grateful for that piece as well as all the other stuff.
It's interesting because as you're talking, I'm like, how does this like really relate to the Thanksgiving holiday? And as you were finishing up there, I was thinking, and this kind of goes into Christmas as well, but I was thinking of every cheesy TV show that you watch or Hallmark movie that you watch, and there's always that point where everything's going wrong and the families are fighting and there's the thing. And if you're watching a TV show and it's got all of the drama going on, and then Uncle Bob has a heart attack or something happens, and then it's 2 days before Thanksgiving, and then everybody comes together, and then they're around the Thanksgiving table. Or it's like the Thanksgiving turkey gets burnt or whatever, and the end of the scene, whether it's the end of the movie or the end of the scene, is always them sitting around the table with the burnt turkey or whatever has happened, and they do the tradition of everybody going around and saying what they're thankful for. And I think that your story is like being able to do that, not just in that moment when everyone's sitting at the table and it's Thanksgiving or it's Christmas or like, you know, Uncle Bob's just had his heart attack and he didn't really die. Even in the small catastrophes or the big ones, that being able to learn how to be in the shit and be like, this is shitty and this sucks and I'm angry, and then come through to the other side and not whitewash it and not see the other side of the penny and see the bright side or the silver lining or any of that shit, but actually just see the whole process and be like, that sucked, and look at us go, we got through it.
Yeah.
It's a 3-step process. That sucked. Deal with the emotions. Be grateful. And then out the other side, how can this actually turn out better than it would have otherwise? If this hadn't have happened, we wouldn't have gotten this. Right? And I used to be really good at stepping straight through step 1, step 2, and going straight to step 3. Well, you know, it's okay because, and that adds up and that adds up and that adds up. And then one day everything frickin' falls apart. And you need to have the complete family meltdown at Thanksgiving in order for all of the frickin' shit that's ever happened in the entire, like, whatever to come flying out the walls, and then you've got to come back together. And that's basically all of the premises of all of those movies. And as you say, right, we know that we're growing when we can actually be like, oh, step 1, that sucked. I'm angry. I can't believe this happened. There might not have actually been a way for it not to happen. There might actually be no way to avoid this. But I'm still really pissed that it did happen. Step 2. Okay, how are we going to manage this situation? How are we going to solve the situation? And then dealing with, if they hadn't have owned up to their shit, that would have been something else you would have had to manage.
Yeah.
I do believe that if you manage step 1 better, there's the whole, I am certain that this is going to work out, which allows room for miracles.
Yeah.
Instead of, this is going to suck, they're not going to own up to it, this is blah, 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 and going into the doom and destruction. If you're certain that everything's going to be okay at the end, you allow room for that to happen. Whether it does or it doesn't, but it's like you're allowing room for the miracles. When we ask St. Anthony if he can please help us find that thing, we are opening up the possibility that that thing might just be in that pocket that you didn't look in, and you've looked in 3 times, but suddenly it appears. But if you just believe that you're never going to find the thing, you'll never find the thing. It's that kind of concept. So if you're certain that it's all going to work out, I think when we're in that space, things always work out better than they would have otherwise.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you know, because Uncle Bob's in the hospital, and now we bring the turkey to the hospital, and now the sister who left and wasn't coming back comes back, and actually everything works out. The world can actually kind of look a little bit cheesy like that. And I'm sorry, I think there are times in my life when I actually need the cheese. I don't watch things that go down the doom destruction in the world. Like, if things aren't going to have a happy ending, I'm just not interested. But sometimes in my life I need the happy ending in order to remind me that the world is inherently a good place and that families inherently do come through for each other and people do come through for each other and good things happen. And I think things like Thanksgiving and Christmas, if we allow them to be the process of your story, you know, and back to your story, it's like, well, we were talking about not that long ago that there are things that need to be done to your house in order for you to feel like if you wanted to move and sell it, those things have been done and they're going to add value. And if you're not going to move and sell it, you want to live in the house once you've done the renovations and enjoy the things that you've done. So maybe these things are going to happen, and at the end of the day, it's going to be like, oh, cool. And actually, we don't need to pull the wall out, but let's just replace the door and replace the window now anyway, because we're already in the pile of shit. So let's just make it a little bit bigger for a moment. We're already uncomfortable, so let's just get a little bit more uncomfortable so that in a year from now, we don't have to go through this all again.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing is, can you start with the gratitude for opportunities that bring things to you that make more things available? And every time I've been able to be in that space, as you said, it's better than what I ever could have imagined. Could I imagine that we'd get a really amazing deal on a door and a window because we put a roof on our house? No. And I wouldn't have asked for that either, because it would have been a lot of chaos and I would have been like, oh no, we can't afford that right now. Well, the quote he's given us for a door and a window are extremely reasonable. I don't know if that's because he feels bad that there was a waterfall in my house.
Probably.
Or if that's just his rates. But if it's just his rates, I'm freaking hiring him again. So that's the other irony, is they did not tarp the roof when they left, when they probably should have.
Mm-hmm.
We don't like that S word here, but it's tricky, right? They probably should have taken steps because there was a chance of rain in the forecast. And they didn't. But the flip side is they might get more work out of it now. So it works out in their favor as well, even though they're going to have to take the time and labor to repair what was damaged. They're still going to end up probably putting in at least a door and a window for us. We're already hiring them to put in our basement door that we had already bought that now we don't really want to do ourselves. And I have a whole house full of windows that still need to be replaced as well. And frankly, because they've taken the time to fix it and taken the time to fix it right for us, I'll tell all my friends. I will be like, you need any work done in your house, you call these people. They're not online, they're Amish. But you call them and you let them know we sent you. You'll be like, hey, that customer that you had a waterfall in their attic just referred me. And they'll be like, okay, great, thanks, you know?
Well, if you do things right, then that's what happens. And also, the other side of it is they're already there. So they've already got the team there. They're already doing stuff. And so for them, they can just cut 20% off of it because they're already halfway through it.
And we got their name from our neighbors who were having work done on their houses. So the guys are going to be on our street for quite a while. So I think there's now 3 of us. So they're going to be around. And when you have that integrity, when it starts with you with that kind of integrity, it ripples outward and it gets fed back to you. It becomes a feedback loop. But it doesn't start until you can find the space to be like, yeah, this sucked, and it may work out better than I imagined. It's going to get taken care of. It's going to get fixed. You know, I am terrified of thinking of losing my entire house to some sort of natural disaster. I'm not going to lie. I was sitting in my attic with water pouring in, sitting there feeling so helpless, thinking of the people that survived Helene a year ago down in the mountains of North Carolina. I can't imagine what that level of destruction would make me feel, watching my house get washed away, you know. And I know that those people in that area are extremely resilient as well. My grandparents' house burned when we were children and they literally had to gut it to the walls. We were able to salvage certain things that meant a lot to the family, and everything was fine in the end. It was an extremely hard time for the family, but everything worked out okay. So sometimes in the moment, if you can just allow more room for what else is possible in here, what other things may be available to us that we might be able to take advantage of or to bring in, that will help improve this situation. And it's hard, it's freaking hard, but that's why your daily practice is so important. That's why reaching for tools whenever something does happen is so important. I'll be the first person to say I'm terrible about reaching for tools, But you know what? That's what the daily practice does for me, is it gives me that moment of grounding when I am present with all those tools at least once a day. And it makes a difference.
I think letting go and being in the space of surrender is so important. Coming back to just all of the emotions that come up when things are in this space. There are certain times of the year, there are certain things actually, because you're not staying on topic on Thanksgiving. So let's just go certain things. There's these man made holidays that are designed, I don't know if it was on purpose, but they are designed nowadays to just trigger the bejesus out of you. And renovations are going to trigger you because you're uncomfortable. Getting in a camper and driving to Mexico is going to trigger you because you're uncomfortable. Having a parent who's aging, my husband's dad is 94 or 96. He's being moved into permanent care today, and he is going to pass in the very near future. That is triggering. These things bring up stuff. Marriages bring up stuff. They're triggering, right? Like babies trigger us. Like there's so many. Moving homes trigger us. Starting a business triggers us. Finishing a business triggers us. Graduations trigger us. Getting a new job triggers us. We are triggered over and over and over again. So recognizing that life is triggering, and you can't just pretend that everything is okay all of the time. And if you have the tools and you have the ability to be like, life is a process of surrendering and letting go and being like, this is happening. I am feeling a certain way. It is not the thing that's actually making me feel this way. The coffee cup got spilled. It is what is in the coffee cup that is going to come out. And if you have the tools, if you recognize what's inside when it spills out, you have a better capacity to recover faster.
Yeah.
And instead of you losing your shit because you spilled coffee on the ground, well, it had nothing to do with the person who bumped you. What came out of the coffee cup was what was in the coffee cup.
Yeah.
And I got bumped this morning. Well, actually, just my husband going home. I knew it was going to bump me. There's good reason I'm not going home with him. And there's nothing wrong, but there is a whole lot of stuff in my coffee cup that I need to be like, oh, that's in there.
Yeah.
And I need to look at that. And this is a really good opportunity. Like, I could quantum leap myself if I can figure out not how to put sugar in the coffee cup, because that's what I probably keep doing, is just putting sugar in there and make it
the
not
bitter flavor.
May have been the chocolate bar I ate last night, but instead being like, okay, let's drink this and understand, where is this actually a really big part of the situation I am in right now, and how is this a piece of the puzzle that I've been trying to solve? I don't have that issue. No, I don't have that. I don't feel that way about that thing. What are you talking about? You know, and we were talking and Jenny's like, oh, it sounds like you might have just found your money story. You might have just been given a piece of the puzzle. You might have been given a clue. I'm like, great, I've got a clue. Now, I still don't have all the pieces of the puzzle. Yay. Cool, now I got this piece. I don't like that piece. Can you give me some more pieces to play with, please?
Yeah, but you
So
get
Jenny
pieces
said, yeah, well,
when you're triggered. The triggering is the pieces. And then how you know you've done the work is when you end up in a situation like I have and you're not triggered. And I'm not going to lie, when we went out there on Monday morning, I was nauseous before we walked outside to talk to them. I tried to start eating breakfast right before they got there, and that did not make me feel good at all. I was nauseous with worry and fear and anxiety over how the situation was going to go. I didn't know if they were going to be defensive. I didn't know if they were going to be like, oh, well, sucks for you. I had no idea. And Yet I was still able to go out there, and I just took a deep breath, and they said hello and good morning. And I said, well, good morning, but we have a problem. And they were like, what? And we explained the situation, and immediately they went into action. I didn't scream. I didn't get angry. I wasn't yelling. I didn't barge out the door. I actually couldn't open the front door. That was the first problem. It was swollen shut. The poor guy rang my doorbell, and I couldn't get the door open to say hello to him. But we were able to just walk out there and be like, okay, there's a problem. What are we going to do to fix it? And even if they had refused to fix it, shoving the insulation out the end of the wall was not that hard. None of the fixes are all that hard, but it's the energy and the emotion that I put into the situation that makes it either easy or hard. And again, drives back to the daily practice. And I am so grateful. I think I'm up to 600 and some odd days of meditating every morning. 10 minutes a day, every day. And before that, it was like 400 or 500. I'm well over probably 14 or 1500 days by now, with only about 8 days missed in that time period. Every day, that is a non-negotiable thing. Every day since this summer, when I did the writing course with Laura Michelle, I've written. I missed one day. I didn't discover it till the next morning because it completely slipped my mind. But every day, it's just a part of what I do to maintain my well-being. And if I didn't have those tools in place, I couldn't be sitting here telling you I'm grateful that there was water pouring in my roof a week ago. So it's just a testament to the value of the tools. It's cumulative over time. And for a lot of that time, it feels like nothing is happening. Nothing is changing. I think there's actually an episode, I think it was the one on meditation. We'll go look it up and link it, where I actually said I'm not even sure what the value is of what I'm doing. Because it's so intangible. It's so amorphous and not a concrete thing until you hit a situation like this. Until you hit a massive trigger that blows up your life. And that's not to say I am not still struggling, because like I said, my to-do list just doubled with this issue. You know, I already had a big load this week. I have a farm I'm caring for my friend. I already had all the extra stuff with this things going on, and now I have even more. And yet I am still just really, really grateful for where we are in this moment. Could be so much worse, but I could be having a negative emotional reaction, in which case my life would be even more miserable right now. But I'm not.
Yeah.
It's just all the work I've put into it. So sit your butt down and pay attention to your daily practice. That's all there is to it.
Mine's fallen off the wagon. I
Yeah.
haven't been meditating. I haven't been, this has been a few days, but
That's how I started.
I haven't been doing my yoga.
That's exactly how I
And-
started all of that, is I was on and off the wagon. I think my meditation app, I think I downloaded it in 2017 or 16. And for the first 3 years, there was less than 200 days total. 3 or 4 years, it was less than 200 days total. I'd make it to maybe a month and a half, and then fall off the wagon. And sometimes it wasn't even that long. There were huge gaps where there was nothing at all. And then one day I just decided it was important enough that I do it every day. And 600 days later, I can tell you, without a doubt, it's more than 600, because the days I missed in that middle window in there were not intentional. They were just oversights. I got busy. I got out of my routine. And I can tell you 1,000 days later, like, damn, that is really important to me. That is not negotiable in my life at all. But you don't get there until you get through that middle window where you're like, I wonder if this is good for me. Going to the gym, the same thing. You don't see results in a day. You don't see results in a week. Then all of a sudden, one day you're like, oh, I just picked that up and it was easy. Or you catch yourself in the mirror and you're like, oh, muscle definition where I didn't have definition before. And that's how all of these processes works. That's how everything that gets you out of the weeds it's vague and it feels weird. It's awkward to start. You have no idea if it's working. It feels funky. You really want to quit most of the time. And you keep doing it for some reason, because something keeps you coming back to the practice. And then one day you blink and you're like, oh, dang. All that time and effort made a big difference. It's actually doing something. And
And
that's
I think
the gratitude piece that I want to bring today.
the one thing I know for me is that everything you just said, being active, but also my eating. It's not hard for me to eat well, it's ingrained into me. The other thing that I'm very grateful for myself is just my ability to get out of the way. I see myself standing in my way, and I just honestly, I politely ask myself to move out of the way.
You're so kind to yourself.
Like, sometimes. And I see it, like there's so many voices in my head, but there's two distinct ones. And one of them is like, those waves are too big. I can't catch one. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm scared. What am I even doing out here? This is terrifying. And the other one's like, the wave's coming, turn around, paddle, 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 get up, go, oh, look, we're going along. And then we get off, and the other one's like, yeah, well, we did it that time, but I don't know if we can do it again like that. It's a constant, like, yeah, I can totally do that website for you. Yeah, I can totally build that website. I'll have it done in 4 hours. And the other one's like, but what if they don't like it? And what if they think it sucks? And what if they don't pay me for the work that I've done? And what if I destroy a friendship because they're awkward about it? And it's like, yeah, well, you know what? Do it anyway, because how are you going to know?
Yeah.
So let's just do it.
Yeah. And that right there is a testament to all the work you've done. The fact that you can actually hear those two voices separately and argue with them, because that's what's important, right? It's great to know that it's there, but if you lay down and roll over when the one voice is telling you to quit, then that's no good. You've got to actually be able to fight back and argue with that voice in your head and say, no, we're doing it anyway. We're doing it this way. We're doing it because I think it's worth it, despite what you're telling me, despite the outcome that may happen. And that's a testament to the work. That takes time to get that clarity. It does not happen overnight.
No, and just to wrap this up, I really did realize the other day, I'm starting to get clarity around, I mean, I did this work 2 years ago. What is my superpower? And I need to go back and look it up and look at what I actually wrote down at the time. And maybe it doesn't actually matter, but my superpower is getting out of my own way and helping other people do the same thing. It's what I do for people when I'm mountain biking coaching. And not just that, my entire business structure with anything I do is helping you to help yourself. Like, I've never really known if it's the appropriate way to go about business, because I don't want you to be reliant on me. I want to give you the tools so you can rely on yourself. I'm going to take you snowshoeing. We're going to do this 4-week program. I'm going to show you my favorite 4 trails. I'm going to introduce you to a bunch of other people that are at your level, that feel the same way, that have the same nerves, and we're going to go out. And then afterwards, I'm going to take you somewhere where you can have coffee and connect with them a little bit deeper. So at the end of this 4 weeks, you have now got a group of friends that you can go, if nothing else, go back to the 4 trails. You don't need me anymore. Unless maybe you want to find 4 other trails and you need me to go and show you and you don't feel comfortable. But chances are now you've got a group of people, you'll probably feel comfortable going and finding them on your own. And the same thing with mountain biking. I want to show you how to coach yourself so that you don't need me. And I also want to become valuable enough that you might want me, but it's not a need. I'm going to build a website for you, and I'm going to give you the tools so that you can continue to do it yourself. I'm also there. If you want me to do it for you, cool. But I'm not doing it for you because you don't know how to do it yourself. I'm doing it for you because you've got way more important things to do in your business than manage your website. But if you need to change that thing, I've showed you how. If you need to log in, I've showed you how. You don't need to make an appointment with me. You might want to, but you don't need to. I'm going to build you an online course, and I'm going to give you the ability to manage it yourself. Now, I might have control issues and be like, you didn't format that right, and I'm going to have to go in and fix it and look exactly the same, but that's on me. But you know how to do it. You know how to manage this stuff on your own, and that has always been my philosophy. in everything. I will help you get out of your own way and give you the tools to keep getting out of your own way. And I am here to support you. And that's got nothing to do with Thanksgiving, but it's also something that I've become very, very clear on. And I'm super excited about actually being like, that's what I offer people.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're teaching people to fly, right?
I want to teach people to fly. Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't want to show you how nice my airplane is and get you addicted to flying on my plane. I want you to be able to fly your own plane.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And you're welcome to come and be in my airplane at any time.
Yeah.
So to wrap it all up, happy Thanksgiving. Find a way to be grateful about something. And as always, if you can't find a way to be grateful, then go camping.
Go to your
'Cause
daily
you'll find
practice.
gratefulness. Go to your daily practice. So I'm Natasha Lucky. You can find me at Betty Gohart on Instagram, Natasha Lucky on Facebook, and on LinkedIn and Substack. And please remember to like, share, comment this podcast. Please help us grow. If this helps you, we would love to get it out to more people.
Yes, most definitely. We love your likes, comments, and shares. They mean a lot to us. So I am Jenny Brandon. I'm an animal communicator and energy healer for animals and their people too. If you are struggling with your pet relationships and would like some support, or to have a little bit of extra around the holidays when you might be traveling or have a little less time for your pet, that is a great reason to connect together and have a session. You can find me on the web at soulpetconnections.com and on Substack, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube under the same handle. So thank you so much for hanging on through this wild ride through the weeds today with a little bit of water along the way. And we look forward to seeing you next time.
Yeah, have a great week. We'll see you next week.